On display now at the Gilcrease Museum is Dorothea Lange's America. There are 55 original vintage images, 30 by Lange and 25 from her contemporaries, who were all capturing photos during the Great Depression.
They're beautiful, they're wonderful vintage photographs of the period. They're not digital reproductions, they are vintage silver gelatin, platinum print photographs of the period.
Lange was in her 20s, working as a portrait photographer in San Francisco, when she saw the change brought on by the 1929 crash.
And I think as a sign of her great humanity, she will decide, I need to document what is happening. And she will literally go from the studio out onto the streets and eventually the road as this nomadic chronicler of the Great Depression.
Not only was Oklahoma hit hard by the market crash, families here were dealing with the Dust Bowl and machines like the tractor, replacing farm workers. Curators have added several Oklahoma-driven pieces to the traveling exhibit, bringing an already moving display even closer to home.
And you see people literally walking off a farm, heading to who knows where. Several of these images are of a huge Hooverville, which is a pejorative name these migrants gave to these encampments, blaming President Hoover for the condition they were in.
Lange and a handful of other photographers were hired by the federal government to document what was happening.
These that are on exhibit now make you think about how bad times were in the 40s and the late 30s, and you can appreciate what they went through.
They would capture more than 250,000 images, now housed in the Library of Congress. They were hired because President Franklin Roosevelt needed help changing minds.
It is Congress. And the Roosevelt administration knew to get the funding that they needed for their programs, they needed to convince Congress to provide that funding through appropriations of monies.
This is probably Lange's most iconic photograph. It was taken in March of 1936 in California, titled Migrant Mother. But the story of this mother of 7 starts right here in Oklahoma.
She had been on the road for over a month. She was tired. She wanted to get home. On her way home back to San Francisco, she drives past a sign that says, Pea Picker Camp.
Lange would drive another 20 miles before turning around. This wall shows the handful of images she snapped of a family from Oklahoma. She didn't even know their name before capturing the one photo which would embody an era of American history.
Even that day, she did not learn her name. She just made a note in her log, destitute agricultural worker, age 32, and didn't know who she was, didn't know her background. We do know today that Florence Owens Thompson was born in the Cherokee Nation near Tahlequah, Indian Territory, just a few years before statehood.
They are images powerful to the nation then, and still today.
Mother of 5, mother of 4,
Mm-hmm.
grandparent of 1, grandparent of 3. So yeah, those photos definitely, especially the one with the mother, with her children, very moving.
Even though the Great Depression happened so long ago, visitors see similarities in today's world.
This is about famine. This is about people starving to death and capturing, their difficult lives. And we still see that today, and I think we can do better. So if anything, it brings that home.
And for those who lived through the Great Depression, it's a reminder of what our nation can overcome.
Brings back lots of memories. Makes me very thankful for where we are today.
Towards the end of the exhibit, visitors are encouraged to share their thoughts. Some stories are firsthand, others passed down through generations. One person writes, all 10 members of the family worked in the fields from the Rio Grande River to Oklahoma. My mother remembers earning 10 cents a day beginning at 5 years of age, which she gave to her father.
They're just wonderful. They're heartwarming as well as heartbreaking in some cases. But you see stories of people helping people survive this very traumatic period of American history.
I mean, as a native Oklahoman, it's very important for us to be able to educate newer generations that, that might not know that this was our history here in Oklahoma.
At the Gilcrease Museum in Tulsa, I'm Jason Grubbs for Discover Oklahoma.